Norris is completely fearless. He was on the grass at one point in the Curva Grande there.
What can I say? Incredible, of course. Yeah, very special also to do it here in front of all the Honda people, all the Japanese fans.
In the heart of Miami's sweltering heat, under the neon lights of the Hard Rock Stadium, something unbelievable was unfolding. The 2024 Miami Grand Prix wasn't just another race. It was the day an underdog's dream collided with a champion's dominance. After 110 race starts and 15 podiums, Lando Norris finally tasted victory for the first time.
Lando Norris wins for the first time in Formula One. It's victory in Miami.
With engines screaming and hearts pounding, the Bristol-born Brit shattered Max Verstappen's perfect record on American soil.
Max Verstappen has taken the checkered flag to win the Japanese Grand Prix,
ending the Dutch champion's crushing winning streak in the US. This was a fairy tale in the making. Lando's journey had been a roller coaster of near misses and doubters. The young McLaren driver had dazzled fans with raw talent since his karting days, yet the top step of the podium had always eluded him. 15 times he climbed on the box, and 15 times the champagne slipped through his fingers. The ghosts of lost victories haunted him. The heartbreak of Sochi 2021, when a sudden downpour washed away his lead, and the endless social media trolls branding him Lando No Wins. He absorbed every insult, every setback, and turned them into fuel. After the Miami race, he confessed, "I never lost faith. I'm so happy to put those doubts to bed and prove a lot of these people wrong. I freaking love it." For years, he had told himself that one day the chips would fall the right way. Tonight, under the Florida sky, they did. The atmosphere was electric. Miami's grid was a melting pot of American glamour. Celebrity guests like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and even former President Trump watched from the stands, unaware that they were witnessing history. The roar of the crowd mingled with the roar of the engines. The announcer screamed, "Engines on," and the lights went green. As cars blasted into turn one, Norris settled into sixth place, eyes forward. He was sandwiched behind teammate Oscar Piastri and a Red Bull, biding his time on the dusty track. Beside him, his longtime rival Verstappen streaked away. The world held its breath. Could this be the moment when the invincible would be challenged? Norris and Verstappen had tangled before, wheel-to-wheel duels and controversial moments that had defined their rivalry. In Austria 2024, their late race collision gifted Mercedes a win. In Mexico 2024, Norris's radio crackled with frustration. "This guy is dangerous. I just had to avoid a crash." But in Miami, those battles were just prologue. Here, decades of promise were about to collide. The race roared on under the blazing Floridian sun. Norris played it cool. He ran sixth, conserving his tires, waiting for the precise moment to strike. Oscar Piastri up ahead was pressing hard, and Ferrari's Charles Leclerc was also in the fight. Then, on lap 21, fate turned. Max Verstappen clipped the chicane, careened into a bollard and dug out a chunk of his floor. His steering wagged. He was momentarily forced off pace. That virtual safety car flashed. McLaren sensed the chance. While others pitted under green and lost time, Norris stayed out a few laps longer. Then the real drama hit. Lap 29. Boom! Kevin Magnussen's Haas rammed Logan Sargent's Williams into the barriers, spraying debris across turn 2. "Safety car!" The whole stadium groaned in unison. For a heartbeat, time stood still. In the pit wall, McLaren's strategy team reacted instantly. "Lando, box now!" his engineer yelled. Norris dove into the pits. In seconds, the crew changed his tires. When Norris blasted back onto the circuit, the screens told the unbelievable truth. He had come out ahead of Max. A lucky break? He had pitted under the safety car and inherited the lead. The underdog was suddenly leading the greatest race of his life. Back on track, lap 33, flag drop. Norris lunged into turn 1 and took the lead. Just behind him, Verstappen sprinted after, furious. Now it was gunfight. For 24 frantic laps, Norris had Max on his tail. Each turn felt like a chess match, each straight a test of nerve. Norris gripped the wheel like never before, eyes darting to his rearview mirror as the Red Bull loomed. The pit wall crackled in his ear, the whole McLaren team shouting, "Come on, Lando!" But in that cockpit, it was silent determination. Lap after lap, Norris held firm. Whenever Max found a DRS straight to gain ground, Norris defended, cutting the track shorter. The gap would stretch to 2 seconds, then 3. Verstappen's car wobbled from his earlier crash. Even he admitted later that the floor was damaged. It was incredibly difficult for us on that stint. Norris sensed the momentum shift. Tire after tire gripped. Lap after lap, he poured on pace. The crowd sensed it too. A ripple of excitement grew each time Norris set a personal best sector. By the final lap, Norris was more than holding on. He was in control. The cameras panned from the crowd to his cockpit. His visor was up on the inside, and you could see his grin slowly forming. The finish line was inches away. Over the team radio, a single word broke free in triumph. Yes. At the moment the checkered flag waved, Norris had built a 7.6-second cushion. The improbable was reality. Lando Norris had done it. Norris flies the flag. The race was over, but no one moved. Then the cheers hit like a wave. Lando let out a joyous shout that mixed laughter and disbelief. "Woo, woo, oh, about fopping time!" He screamed into his radio. "I love you all, thank you so much. We did it, Will, we did it." The team exploded with jubilation. Pads banged, hugs were given, and helmets were tossed in the air. Cameras caught his fist pumping. In that instant, the years of hardship and ridicule melted away, replaced by pure, unadulterated joy. A few moments later on the podium, Norris stood drenched in champagne. The sun was setting behind him, painting the sky orange. The song Chariots of Fire played as an anthem to his endurance. Reporters and photographers flocked around. Some asked him to relive every heart-stopping second. Others simply watched him cry with happiness. Norris could hardly find words. Between laughs and tears, he managed, "Today was my day. I was thinking, I'm gonna conjure up a safety car, and it all worked out. Whoever did that, I share my trophy and champagne with them." He hugged every team member on the podium who hoisted him, beamed at team principal Andrea Stella beside him, and saluted the roaring crowd. He had done it, for himself, for his family, and for every fan who ever believed in him. Back in the McLaren garage, the celebration was just as intense. His parents hugged him tight. Teammate Oscar Piastri clapped him on the back, proud and even a bit choked up. Lando took a moment for an interview. Still shaking, he dedicated the win. "My mom and dad have supported me so much. I told my grandma I was going to win a race, and look, I did it," he smiled. "Now this is just the start. We're really hungry for more." Meanwhile, the paddock was buzzing. Max Verstappen himself ambled over and, with a sportsman's grace, said, "I'm very happy to be beaten by Lando today. He definitely deserved it." The champion admitted he had no answer to Norris's pace. "He was miles faster at the end," Max said. Lewis Hamilton, who knows how special that first win feels, clapped Lando on the shoulder and said, "Well done, Lando. It's great to see McLaren so competitive, and I know how special your first win is." George Russell added, "Massive well done to Lando. He truly deserves it. We've been racing a long time. I had no doubts he'd win." Their praise was thunderous. Even Ferrari's Charles Leclerc, who finished third, congratulated Lando on air. In victory, Norris was humble. "I never lost faith," he repeated, letting that victory sink in. For the United States audience, the significance couldn't be overstated. Miami's crowd, partly American, partly international fans, exploded when the podium was announced. Flags waved. The stars and stripes mingled with McLaren orange. On social media and sports news, people erupted. Lando wins Miami. Norris ends Verstappen's US curse. Former President Donald Trump, who had joked about being Norris's lucky charm, quipped after the race that he'd take credit for boosting Norris's luck. Behind the scenes, McLaren's CEO Zak Brown beamed with pride. In a live TV interview, he declared, "This is long overdue," recalling Norris's agonizing second place in Russia 2021. Brown hugged the team's entire workforce, 1,000 plus people, he said, who had worked unbelievably to build a race-winning car. At McLaren's headquarters in Woking, fans in the pit lane pounded on the drum at Norris's fame wall, and engineers high-fived. Finally, the cameras pulled away. The Miami lights shone on an empty track, as if in awe of what had just happened. In the minutes after the race, the phrase, "We did it," echoed beyond the radio. It became a rallying cry. Across living rooms, bars, and newsrooms, people were talking about more than an upset win. They were talking about an emotional journey fulfilled. Lando Norris had proven something fundamental that night. Perseverance can topple a titan. His clenched fist against the setting sun symbolized hope for every dreamer. In the end, Miami 2024 was not just the story of a race won, but of belief rewarded. And as fans left the track, the final sentiment hung in the air. Sometimes the underdog roars back.